Good morning, folks. This is Naim Azam, Chief Market Analyst at Trade, and welcome to our daily technical analysis video. In today's segment, we are going to discuss about the recent sell-off that we have experienced in the market. Because remember, this market is not ready to bounce back up yet. So let's have a look at the price and then let's see why exactly that is happening. But before we do that, it is important for us to go through this slide of disclaimers and risk warnings. Anything which will be discussed cannot be perceived as an advice. If you are seeking for one, please do consider consulting with your own advisors. As always, I'm going to bring out the MT4 platform. I'm sure that many of you are already familiar with, and if you're not, there are several different videos on Evertrade's website how to trade with MT4 platform. Now, what we see in our on our chart right now is the daily chart for the S&P 500 index. What it indicates to us is that the price is continuously making lower highs and lower lows. Now, what do I mean by that? First of all, if we look at the price action right over here, we can see that this is the highest point that the price has made, right, for the S&P 500 index. And then there's another one just right over here, and then another one right over here. Then the price continues its journey to the downside, and now it has made another lower high over here as well. And at the same time, the price has also made another lower low right over here. So the definition of a downward trend is pretty much when the price starts to make lower highs and it also starts to make lower lows. That is what we are seeing with respect to the S&P 500 index. Now, as of yesterday, what happened yesterday was because the price stayed above the day before yesterday, the price stayed above this 100-day moving average. And even yesterday morning, the price was trading well above this 100-day SMA, which was sending us a confirmation that this particular price is going to continue its journey to the upside and it is not likely to reverse. But that didn't really happen because the fact that the price has pierced and gone below its 100-day moving average, which is right over here, the one shown in orange color, indicates to us that this price movement is going to continue and it is going to continue to the downside. So then the question is that, okay, we understand that this price movement is going to continue to the downside, but where is this price is really going to go? How low can this really go? So this particular area that you are seeing right in front of you, which runs from 3,182 to all the way to 3,215, is likely to be the area where we can see possible support, meaning possible buys coming in. And if that happens, the price price needs to stay above that, and then it doesn't need to violate it, because if it violates this area, for example, if the price continues its journey to the downside like that, then that means that this area of support has no importance whatsoever, because the next area of support, the next meaningful area of support, is likely to be where the 200-day moving average is. And as you can see, we have three different moving averages. And if you see any of the previous videos, you will know that I always use simple day moving average, and then purple one is always your 50, the orange one is your 100, and green one is your 200. So again, continuing with this one, I think that it is likely for the price to continue its movement to the downside and revisit. It will continue its journey to the downside and it will revisit somewhere in around over here. That is at least that is a hope. But there are no guarantees with respect to the price that it will stop there, because the price can continue its momentum to the downside and it can very much go into this area of support, the next area of support, as this is the area where we have seen this massive rally to the upside. If you're wondering that why am I choosing this area, the area that I have lined up right over here is because this is where this massive rally happened, and then again the retest happened over here because the price continued here, came back, and then moved back up, and then it retested it, and hence I am looking at this area of support as another potential point that perhaps this could be the area where the price can actually go back above that. Now, quickly, when we look at the Dow Jones price, the Dow Jones is again similar, a very similar price action over here as well. We have pattern of lower low, lower high. This is being your highest high, this is being your lower high, and then again another lower high just right over here, and then the price is continuing to making its lower lows at the same time. So what does this really mean? Again, there's no difference between that and the S&P 500 index, because the move which we are seeing is very much dominant to the downside, and it is likely that given the fact that the price has broken this 50 day moving average, it is very likely that it will continue its journey to the downside, and this could be this could bring the price somewhere near its 200-day moving average, because if the price doesn't move back above the 200-day moving average, I think the only way for the price really from here is to move to the downside. And again, what I wanted to re-emphasize is that something that we discussed yesterday as well, when the price was trading above the 100-day moving average. We discussed that, look, you can put your stop loss on top of yesterday's high, because if the price breaks below this one, your stop loss was going to be right over here as of yesterday, as we discussed in our video yesterday. So that was a huge opportunity that kind of we discussed, because we discussed both, that look, either you can put your stop loss, if you're going long, then put your stop loss under that, and then wait, shoot for the moon, wait for the prices to continue to do their journey to the upside. Or on the flip side, what you can do is, what we also discussed was that the prices can always move to the downside rather than moving to the upside. And what does that mean is place your stop losses on top of this particular candle, and that can really move this price to the downside. And that is what we are really seeing over here for the Dow Jones index. But remember, what we also discussed was the prospect of the Nasdaq bouncing off its 100-day moving average, and we discussed this in a lot of detail, that why we believe that the bull signal is here, because the Nasdaq was bouncing off its 100-day moving average, and now clearly the price is still there, and the price hasn't broken the lows of this candle, the first one, when it violated the lows of this particular candle. So that means that, okay, as long as this particular low for the Nasdaq remains in place right over here, we still have chances, folks. We still have chances for this index to reverse its losses and then change its direction. But in order for that to happen, we need to break out of this particular downward trend line, and more importantly, we need to break the 50-day moving average on the daily time frame. That is very important. But if that doesn't happen, if the price breaks this one, then definitely the price is very likely to move its journey towards its next support area, and that support area is likely to be your 200-day moving average. So I hope this kind of makes sense. So to recap once again, the prices are looking very weak. The chances are now that the prices will continue their momentum to the downside. The only chance for the Nasdaq index is that if it stays above the this particular candle's low and breaks above this downward trend line, then we can say that there's a change of this trend. Otherwise, this trend is really likely to continue to move to the downside. And once again, we're seeing a lot of weakness for the Dow Jones index for the time being. But remember, the S&P 500 index is very, very close to its support zone, its buy zone, so it can move to the upside. All right, folks, that's all for today, and I'll see you guys next time.